Hello, welcome back to Maddie's Books. I'm Maddie, these are my books, and today we are going to be talking about Wuthering Heights. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the new movie adaptation with Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, written and directed by Emerald Fennell. Now, I will start by saying that I read the book recently. For my book club, Coastal Chapters, I figured we all are interested in seeing the movie. We may as well read the classic first. And I don't know if this was a disservice to my experience watching the film, because I'm going to say off the bat that as an adaptation, I didn't like the film. As a standalone, however, I do like the film. So let's kind of break it down a little bit. There will be spoilers in here. So if you haven't read the book, if you haven't watched the movie, maybe save this and come back later. Or if you don't care about spoilers, please keep on watching, keep on listening. The novel is a gothic novel written in 1800s. It is moody, it is harrowing. There's a lot of depth and complexity with most of the characters in the novel, as well as the themes that they are experiencing. The movie setting was really good. I really liked the setting, and I think the costumes were fun, because when we first got the promo for it, people were pissed off that it was not like classically correct. And I was very much in the camp of, we don't need another BBC adaptation. We don't need another period drama. I was all for something fun, something exciting, something different. Emerald's other films have major shock factors in there, and I feel like she was really tame with Wuthering Heights. And in saying that as well, I do wonder, why make the film Wuthering Heights when you're kind of missing the point of the whole book? You know, it had the potential to be dark, and especially with Emerald Fennell and her cinema history, with her twist, it really could have been freaky, sexy, gothic. I mean, all of the trailers, all of the promotional material that we were consuming, people were saying this is the 50 Shades of Grey of Wuthering Heights. I personally felt like it wasn't, and they had so much marketing, and we understand that sex sells. So why did we just get a random little montage of Kathy and Heathcliff making out in various locations? Why was that it? And I don't know why people are talking about the yearning. I mean, I kind of get it from Jacob. I don't seriously get it from Margot. I mean, why was Jacob Elordi cast? I really do echo every similar sentiment about this. I think it really just missed the point, and I'm a massive Jacob fan. I love Jacob Elordi. Jacob, if you watch this, I'm sorry. Still want to be your wife. Hope you don't mind. Healthy critique. But it was also just not his best work. But in saying that, I do wonder if it was just the stylistic choices and the director's envisioning of his character. He was really great in Frankenstein, and also The Narrow Road to the Deep North. He is a good actor. It's just this movie, I just didn't quite believe it. In the book, it's alluded to that Heathcliff is a man of colour. He is the other. He's an outsider. He's brought in by Kathy's dad, and there are themes of race, class, and he's basically saying, you know, Heathcliff, you are not good enough for my daughter. I took you from the streets. You are different from us, and you can't marry her. Because to me, when I read the book, you know, he's tormented. The book is basically his revenge arc on the Earnshaw family and the Lintons as well. And his character felt so subdued. Even with some of the hard-hitting quotes in the book, they aren't actually in the movie. But if they are in the movie, then it's just like fragments of them and not the full thing. Like, you know, when he's saying, I killed you, you say I killed you, you killed yourself, go haunt me then. That's like very, very rough paraphrasing, obviously. But when he's saying all of that in the book, I felt him almost like screaming at her, yelling at her, being in like a proper tiff with Kathy. all of his dialogue in the film was very quiet and it was very gentle. Even when he was saying to Isabel Linton, I'm going to be with you, but I'm going to be thinking about Kathy the whole time. And I can kind of understand in that scenario how his characterization would be cool and calm because he's in control and he's trying to take control over Isabella. The rest of it, we don't really see his anger. We don't really feel his anger, or at least I didn't. I don't know. It was just really strange. I think the most I felt in the whole movie was the end scene, but only when they started having the flashbacks with young Heathcliff and young Kathy. Those two actors were phenomenal. I really hope they have long careers ahead of them, because even at the start of the film, when we're kind of getting the backstory, really felt for him. Speaking of the start of the story, I felt like the beginning of the movie was really, really rushed. Hi, baby. Oh. The pacing just felt off, because then for the rest of the movie, it did feel a little bit slow. I went to the toilet just before Heathcliff returned. Thought this is a really good time to go wee because nothing is happening. I feel like the movie tried to do so much, and at the same time it also did so little in terms of being an adaptation. And I understand that it is based on, but really the only element that it was based on are the character names and the dynamic of, I can't be with him, so I'm going to marry him even though I'm really in love with the first guy. It was just a weird love triangle movie. It almost felt like a sugar coating of the original story, because I didn't feel the yearning. I will be so honest, I didn't feel the chemistry between Margot and Jacob. Probably the hottest scene in the whole movie was when Kathy sees the maid and the stable boy, and Heathcliff comes up behind her and surprises her. That was hot. Everything else, it was just a bit whatever. I'm pretty sure it was Rolling Stone who said that this was the horniest adaptation ever made. And I just want to know, number one, if we watch the same film. Number two, if you've seen more than 3 films in your life. Let me leave that with you. Circling back to it being gothic, where were the ghosts? Where was the haunting? I wanted that. And I think because the way that the structure of the film differed from the book, because we didn't have, what's his face? Lockwood. We didn't have Lockwood. We also didn't have Hindley. Because Lockwood wasn't there, it was set in consecutive order. So the film was done in the timeline that it happened. There was no dude, renting out the house, talking to Nellie, being like, hey, what's going on with the people who live here? What's the tea? Give me the drama. I feel like if we had started the beginning of the film with some element of the haunting by telling people that Catherine dies, and then kind of working our way back and seeing the pieces and filling in the gaps of oh, okay, this is why things are the way they are. Maybe that would have been a better way to do it. I will say the Sydney premiere, Margot said Kathy is a brat, and 100% she is. And Margot played that character really well. Kathy was annoying, but she was supposed to be annoying. I did like the comedic relief, especially when the Lintons moved next door and she's going about being like, oh, they haven't called for me yet. And she's in the window and she's looking out and it's all very melodramatic. That was really funny. And I think Alison Oliver as Isabella, she was excellent comedic relief as well. I didn't expect there to be comedy in the film. Hey, little man. When I was talking with my colleagues at work, one girl said, oh, it's a rom-com. And I said, girl, there is no rom and there is no com, at least in the book. And lo and behold, there was a bit of rom in the movie. There was a bit of com too. I don't think there should have been. I will say the film was visually stunning. The cinematography, the setting, that was all really well done. It was a good movie to look at. It was a good movie to watch. Hey, little man. It's like I walked out of the cinema and I didn't think, oh my goodness, I love this movie. I kind of walked out and I was like, yeah, that was a movie. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Do I have to watch it again? Yes, because my book club are going on Wednesday to see it. And I will say, all critique aside, I was invited to the Sydney premiere by Dimmicks and I did have the best night. It was so much fun. It was great to go as a group, having all read the book. We all mostly enjoyed the book, even though it was really hard to read and it was not a digestible classic. I like that the adaptation has sparked so much conversation and so much controversy because it ultimately is encouraging modern readers to pick up classics again and engage with texts that they might not necessarily consider reading. As much as we can kind of shit on things, I think a lot of good has come out of this film, and I really do feel like if it wasn't a direct adaptation as they're trying to make it be, it would have been a lot more successful because they are pissing off so many people. And I was so excited to come into this with enthusiasm. And I think because my expectations were so high and in reality they were actually diminished, kind of dampened it. And to everybody saying that this film is basically a Charlie XCX music video, I don't think that they've actually watched the film because we get maybe 3 of her songs for perhaps a total of 10 seconds each, just sprinkled through there. And I feel like if you're getting Charlie XCX to make an entire album for the film, you should include more of the songs, if not all of them, and for longer. I think when I watch it on Wednesday, I'm going to go into it with the mindset of not thinking about the book, not thinking about it as an adaptation, and just enjoying it for what it is, because I think without those expectations, it is a lot more enjoyable. And that's kind of what I was getting at the start of this when I said, I did read the book before I watched the movie, perhaps to my own detriment, because I think a lot of the people who are watching the film either haven't read the book and that's okay, or maybe they have read the book and they have a very open mind but incredibly low expectations. Because I wanted something quirky, I wanted something fun, I wanted something out of the top and camp and different. And we got that, but also it just felt like there was zero substance to the actual film. Zero substance in relation to the novel. We just got a love triangle. And also, why make Edgar a person of color, not Heathcliff? Like Emerald, you can do it. Why are you picking and choosing characters you're staying faithful to? And also, Edgar's character, so bleak. There was not a lot to him. He was just almost there as a prop. And with Nellie, I got really angry because I was like, wow, Nellie's such a bitch. And I agree with other reviewers so far who have said that they really did paint Nellie out to be the villain, and they didn't really hold Kathy and Heathcliff accountable for their own actions. They are each other's undoing, and in the movie it's just kind of like, oh, silly little miscommunication trope. But yeah, I have very mixed thoughts. I have very complicated thoughts. I do wonder if Emerald purposefully chose to do a loose adaptation of Wuthering Heights with the full knowledge that she wouldn't do it any justice to sell tickets and make money and get a bit of a hype and a buzz. I mean, I'm thankful that she did do the adaptation because it meant that I could be invited to the premiere as an avid reader and supporter of Dimmicks. So thanks, babes. Had a fun night. Just felt like it missed the mark for me. Thank you for coming to my rants and rambles. I was so passionate about sharing my thoughts on this film that I'm relaunching the podcast. So you will have noticed my new backdrop. I moved in October last year. I'm in my own space now, which is really nice. I have the freedom and the flexibility to film and record, which is great. So the podcast is officially back up again. So if you have any video recommendations or review requests, please do let me know. As always, chuck me a follow on Instagram. Keep up to date with me there. I will see you guys next episode. Thank you.